This is a video to illustrate how to create workbooks and activities in iLearner. The purpose of the workbook or activity is where a number of criteria are going to be covered by the same assessment for a number of learners. And the idea is that assessment criteria are going to be mapped in the background of the system so that when the assessor wants to assess the activity, they can do that by simply typing 100% once to say the activity is complete. The system will then pre-populate the activity, pre-populate all of the assessment criteria linked to the activity. It's advisable to log in as domain owner to do this. This will make the activity available to all centre admins related to that domain. So hit the standards button, at which point you will need to select the standard that you wish to create the activity for. Once you find the qualification that you'd like to create the activity for, click the View button, at which point you will see a list of units. Select the unit that you would like to create the activity for, and you need to hit the arrow button to view this unit. Once you view the unit, you will note activities against all of the criteria. Currently, we don't have any activities. Hit the Activities button and then create a new activity. Important thing to consider here is the title for the activity, and as we're doing one activity to cover the whole unit, I'm going to copy and paste the unit title into my page title. I'm then going to save the changes. Currently, this activity is only mapped to one assessment criteria. As you can see here, 1.1. I want to link this activity to more learning outcomes. So I'm going to hit the button towards the right of the screen. And because I know that this activity is going to cover every assessment criteria, I'm going to type 100 into each of the boxes of each assessment criteria. This can be done easily by pressing the Shift and the 0 button. As you can see, we have 100% in all of the boxes. We then need to check the boxes to update the system to tell it that all of the assessment criteria have been achieved. And there we've got this activity mapped to 100% across the unit. Very well worth noting that the guided learning hours on and off the job can be recorded in the boxes here, should you wish to. And it's also worth noting that should this assignment cover more than one unit of assessment, hitting the button at the bottom and taking the drop down box, you could select Unit 2 or 30972 of this qualification, hit the Go button, again link the activity to more learning outcomes. You're then faced with the second unit, at which point you could start to type in the numbers that you wished, or the percentages that you wish to cover by the assignment. On the first assignment, we covered everything at 100%. It is possible, if you've got two pieces of evidence, if it was a be able to unit and you're going to do an observation and a witness testimony, that both of the activities might hit half of the unit, and therefore in that case you can put the number 50 if you wanted to do 2 assessment activities for the unit, or 25 if you wanted to do 4. The choice there would be your individual choice. I'm not going to do that for this activity, so I'm going to go back to where I was, to the understand roles and responsibilities. And I can see that that's all mapped to 100%. I then want to add an activity, or add the assessment to the unit. The way in which I'm going to do this is by hitting the Browse button. So I'm hitting the Browse button and I'm looking for the activity. I'm attaching that activity, save changes and updating my contact. And now, as you can see, the Unit 1, Roles and Responsibilities, assignment is attached to the activity. At this point, we need to close our page that we're on. We can then close the next page, and we want to go back to the Standards button. Back to the Standards button, we then want to look for the Education and Training qualification at level 3, again as previously selected. Hit the View button again, and now you'll see, because we've created an activity, we now have the opportunity to create the workbook. So when we get to this section here, we hit the workbooks. We then want to create a new workbook. You're advised to change the name of the workbook. So again, I'm going to call that the name of the unit. I've copied the name of the unit there. I'm going to press change, and then the activity that I've just created is here, and I want to include that activity in the workbook. So I tick the box here, update workbook contents, at which point you can see activities 1. So within that workbook I have now got 1 activity. At this point we have now created our activity, and we've also created our workbook, and therefore this will now be ready to assign to our learners.